Good evening and a warm welcome to all the viewers. I am Avinash Singh and on behalf of RPG Life Sciences, I welcome all for today's session on breast cancer awareness. So as you know that month of October is dedicated to spread awareness about breast cancer, and to do so, today we have with us our respected speaker, Dr. Jyoti Gupta Anand. Welcome Jyoti ma'am and thank you for joining us today. To give a brief introduction about Dr. Gupta, she has completed her MBBS, DNB Internal Medicine and DNB Medical Oncology, and currently she is associated as a consultant medical oncologist in Department of Medical Oncology in Yashoda Cancer Hospital, Ghaziabad. She has an experience of more than a decade and has participated in many clinical trials, has publications, and has been thesis co-guide too. She has been constantly associated in creating awareness about cancers amongst patients through various conferences and CMEs, and will continue to do the same even today also. So without any further ado, I welcome Dr. Jyoti ma'am and would request her to please carry forward the session. Thank you ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Avinash. Thanks for warm welcome and nice introduction. So I think you have already introduced why we are keeping this webinar today. So as we all celebrate October, a breast cancer awareness month. So why breast cancer awareness? Because if we detect early breast cancer, it will be in stage 1 or 2, and we have good chances of cure rates. So this is about October month is about all that breast cancer awareness, detecting it early, and hence curing the patient of breast cancer. So we can go ahead. So this will be the outline of our webinar today. Overview about the breast cancer, facts and stages of breast cancer. What are the risk factors which are associated with development of breast cancer? How one can detect breast cancer? What are the symptoms? How we can decrease the risk of breast cancer by our lifestyle modifications. And now coming to the awareness part, screening is the most important part which helps in detection of early breast cancer. Then management of breast cancer, and depending upon the stages, what are the survival rates, how much patient can survive. And most important thing, I think, we can detect cancer, we can treat cancer, but how about the life after breast cancer detection or the treatment of breast cancer? It is very important. And of course, in India, myths about the any type of cancer or any kind of disease, they're also very important. So next slide. So in overview of breast cancer, let us start that what is a breast cancer, or what is a cancer for that matter. Whenever a cluster or group of cancer cells, also called a malignant tumor, they develop in breast, it is called a breast cancer. So mostly women are diagnosed, it is diagnosed in women, but in rare cases, it can be found in men as well. So we had a male breast cancer. So one of our this nursing staff, they came to us, ma'am, I think it has been wrongly written. He's a male, and it is written that it is a male breast cancer. So no, it is not uncommon. It is uncommon in male as breast cancer, but it can be there. So next slide. So most commonly diagnosed cancer in women, it is the most common cancer in women. Second leading cause of cancer death among women, obviously because it is the most common cancer, so it is among the leading causes of deaths also. So on an average, every 2 minutes a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer. See how common it is. So every 13 minutes, one woman is dying of breast cancer. This is the mortality of breast cancer. Death rates are declining with early detection and increased awareness. Here we are focusing today that we want to detect early by spreading the awareness about the breast cancer, and hence decreasing the death rates. So these are the facts about the breast cancer. What is the incidence? Next, last I have. What is the incidence? How much is the mortality? And how can we decrease the mortality of breast cancer? Next slide. So this is that 1 out of 10 women have a breast cancer. This is how common it is. Next slide. So these are the stages of breast cancer. Very beautiful pictorial diagram of stages of breast cancer. When the tumor is limited to breast, it is generally stage 1. And when it has spread to from the breast to the axillary nodes, it is generally stage 2. Grossly. And when there is a large tumor in the breast and axillary matted nodes or thoracic nodes, it is stage 3. And metastasis, distant metastasis, stage 4. Patient can have bony metastasis, patient can have lung or liver metastasis, patient can have brain metastasis also. So this is what we call as stage 4. Next slide. So what are the risk factors of breast cancer? When we are talking about awareness, increasing the awareness, how can we increase the awareness? What are our target population where we can increase the awareness about breast cancer? First of all, it is a hereditary breast cancer. Hereditary breast cancer, suppose a female has breast cancer. So what is the incidence of developing breast cancer in her family? Patient can have breast cancer in her kids also. It can be daughters, it can be sons also, because hereditary breast cancer, they're genetically related, they're associated with the BRCA gene, BRCA gene, what we call it. So we have a cluster of cancers which can be associated with BRCA. Not only breast cancer is associated with BRCA gene, patient who has breast cancer can have familial incidence of and BRCA positive can have familial incidence of developing breast cancer, ovarian cancer, uterine cancer, pancreatic cancers, gallbladder cancers. These are the cancers which can be associated hereditarily in a patient with breast cancer who is BRCA positive. So now coming to the lifestyle modification, lifestyle, increased use of alcohol intake or cigarette or smoking, it increases the risk of breast cancer. How it increases the risk of breast cancer? Because when we smoke contains a lot of carcinogenic agents which increase the level of mutations in our body and hence increases the chances of cancer, be it any cancer, breast cancer, lung cancer. It is how it increases the development of cancer. Next comes the age. How each elderly, generally patients above the age of 60 or 65, they develop cancer. Mostly breast cancer is common in patients more than 65 years of age. But yes, we can have breast cancers in patients who are less than 18 years of age or less than 20 years of age also. So how age plays a factor, how by elderly are more affected with breast cancer, because as we grow older, the cell replication, the process of cell replication, it becomes faulty. So whenever वो अपने रास्ते से भटक जाते हैं, तो they develop cancer, they produce cells faster, they grow into cancers, and this is how they predict that patient can have more incidence of cancers. Obesity. Why? How obesity? Because obesity is a hyper-inflammatory state. इन्फ्लेमेशन बॉडी में बहुत ज्यादा चलता है, उसकी वजह से वी कैन हैव वेरी मच इंसिडेंस ऑफ डेवलपिंग कैंसर्स, breast cancers, colonic cancers. These patients are very much prone. Then pregnancy and breastfeeding. How pregnancy and breastfeeding? So if a patient patient has not reproduced, patient has not given birth to any child, it makes her at higher incidence of developing breast cancer. And breastfeeding is a protective. If a female feeds her kids more than 6 months, so it decreases the chances of developing breast cancers. This is according to the studies. Next slide. Diabetes. Again, diabetes is an inflammatory state. By increases the inflammation in the body, it increases the chances of developing cancers, especially breast cancer and colonic cancers. Hypertension is also a risk factor. And hormones, yes, hormones, pregnancy, breastfeeding, how they affect the development of breast cancer? By hormonal changes in the body, because pregnancy is a hyperestrogenic state. And this is how, and cancers, the breast cancers, they are also estrogen receptor positive. So this is how they increase the chances of developing breast cancer. Next slide. So what can be the symptoms whenever a patient comes to us? डॉक्टर साहब मुझे कैसे पता चलेगा कि मुझे breast cancer हो गया है? So one can have a lump that feels different from the rest of the breast. Patient can easily make out that this is something different because the feeling is different. It is बहुत इजीली बाकी के ब्रेस्ट टिश्यू से हम इसको डिफरेंशिएट कर सकते हैं. इट स्टैंड्स आउट ऑफ इन द ब्रेस्ट एंड द कंसिस्टेंसी, द फील इज वेरी डिफरेंट. सो वन पेशेंट कैन हैव रैश अराउंड द निपल because of the cancer. Patient can have discharge from the nipple. it is usually in reproductive age years, like in patients who are around up to 40-45 years of age. One can have milky discharge from the breast, which is normal. But when it is serosanguinous, like it is bloody, it is indicative of a cancer development. Patient can have swelling of the breast, or patient can have breast pain or tenderness. Pain or tenderness, they are very less likely, when only when it is inflammatory kind of breast cancer, it is then important. But breast or when there is a nipple discharge and it has become infective, then it becomes painful or tender. Otherwise, a lump in the breast, it is generally painless when it is a cancerous lump. Next slide. So these are some images. This is a painless lump. I have already told you that lumps are almost always painless. And this is one of the major signs, nipple retraction. And this the skin changes. You can see pudgy orange, जिसको हम बोलते हैं कि संतरे की खाल जैसी skin हो जाना. These are the signs of breast cancer. Next slide. Skin texture, how you can see the changes in skin texture, because as the lump grows, it gets stick to the skin, and you can see here a bit of dimpling in the skin. So this is how stretching of the skin, dimpling of the skin, and this is characteristic pudgy orange or orange peel-like skin of the breast cancer. Next slide. So symptoms we have already discussed. It can be discharge, especially bloody discharge. So whenever there is a lump, it will grow, the skin will get stretched, so you can easily make out the veins in the breast as compared to normal breast. So whenever we examine breast, examining normal breast is very important. And first, initially, suppose a patient has come that I have problem in right breast. We start the examination with left breast, normal breast, and then we go to the abnormal breast. This is how you can easily make out the difference that this is the problem. So I have already told you pulling or puckering of the skin around the tumor, under the tumor, because it will get hold of the skin. Redness, hot skin or swelling, these are usually the signs of inflammation which are seen in inflammatory breast cancer. Otherwise, in normal breast cancers, redness, hot skin and swelling are rarely seen. Recess or dimpling of the skin. Asymmetry, yes, whenever there is a lump, the breast will become asymmetric as compared to its normal part. Retraction of the breast nipple, we have already seen the image. Thinning of the breast skin, because it will the lump will grow, it will stretch the skin, so you can see the thinning of the breast skin. Then retraction of the skin on the chest. So these symptoms or these signs, they are all according to the stage of the disease. Like whenever there is dimpling, so skin is adherent, it is stage 3. Whenever it is what we are talking about is retraction of the skin on the chest. One is asymmetry. Here, because of the lump, the breast is hanging, but when it will get stick to the chest wall, there will be retraction. It will be fixed to the chest wall. We will not be able to move the breast around the chest wall. Then destruction of the skin. Then when we have ulceroproliferative lesions, there will be destruction of the skin. Next slide. So most important part, the talk of the day, breast cancer awareness. How can we prevent breast cancer? First of all, we will talk about lifestyle modifications. There are risk factors which we can modify. There are risk factors which we cannot modify. So what are the risk factors which we can modify to prevent the prevention of breast cancer? Maintaining a healthy weight. So preventing obesity, staying physically active. There are studies in which we have seen that patients who were more physically active, they had lesser chances of developing breast cancer as compared to patients who were physically sedentary. These are all related to hormonal changes, because whenever patient is physically active, it will decrease the state of inflammation. It will not be hyperestrogenic state, and patient will have lesser chance of developing breast cancer. Eating fruits and vegetables, again, eating fruits and vegetables will prevent the chances of inflammatory state and hence breast cancer. Smoking is a carcinogenic material, so it will decreases the chances of breast cancer if we will not smoke. And alcohol consumption in limits, which are recommended, it decreases the chances of breast cancer, development of breast cancer. So, how can we early detect breast cancer, and what is the impact? What are the implications of detecting breast cancer early? Because when it is detected, we can have a very high 5-year survival rate. So, early detection plan, how what it all includes is, first is monthly breast self-examinations. A patient cannot go to the doctor every time. So, first of all, every female should be aware of that I have to examine my breast self every month. And if there are high chances of developing of breast cancer, like one patient has familial history of breast cancer or any other cancer, she should go to clinic regularly every 3 to 6 monthly to get it checked by a physician who is experienced in detecting breast cancer, so that we should not miss it. Then complete body checkup, which will include mammograms depending upon your age and health history. Mammograms are recommended above the age of 40 years. Suppose a female comes to us that I have a lump in breast, and but she is not 40, we will go for ultrasound breast and see that if there is a lump or not. And health history, again, diabetes and all that, it is very important. So next slide, yes. So complete body checkup is the solution, because it will detect your hyperestrogenic or hyper inflammatory states like blood sugar and all that. And then sonomammography is a quick, it is a non-invasive, painless, and not very expensive test for detecting breast cancer, which will lead to a happy and healthy life, because it will detect early breast cancer. Next slide. So these are the methods of screening: breast self-examination, then clinical breast examination, mammogram, and ultrasound. Next slide. Now, again, a very important slide, when to begin screening. अब डॉक्टर साहब मुझे कब शुरू करना है ये अपना सेल्फ एग्जामिनेशन और whatever. Suppose in the age of 20 to 40 years, it is every 3 yearly one should undergo clinical breast examination. And after 40 years, annually we should go. And annually mammogram after the age of 35 to 40. Generally we recommend it after the age of 40, but in females who have history of breast cancer, we can go for early mammograms, like in 35 years of age. And by increasing the breast cancer awareness, women with more than 25% risk of cancer we can detect. And all the above, plus MRI yearly after the age of 35 years. In routinely, we do not recommend MRI. First investigation, I've already told that it is mammography, but obviously age limit is there. More than 40 years, we go for mammography. Patient under the age of 45 years, we go for ultrasound. But there are limitations of ultrasound as well as mammography. In cases where we have dense breasts, so mammography is not a very good modality. Ultrasound is still better. But if ultrasound is also not able to give us good information, then we recommend MRI, but it is not routinely recommended, and it is not a routine screening tool for detection of breast cancer. Next slide. So important thing, how to do self-examination. Okay, so how to do self-examination? Place your right hand behind your head with the middle of your middle fingers of your left hand, gently yet firmly press down using small motions, examining the right breast. Next, sit or stand. Feel your armpit, because breast tissue goes into that area. Gently squeeze the nipple, checking for discharge. Repeat the process on the left breast. Use one of the patterns shown in the diagram. We are showing the diagram also, so this was just theoretical. Next slide. So this is how you have to lie down, keeping one hand under the head, examining by the fingers, flat of the fingers around in the breast, self-examination, manual inspection. This is in the reclining position. Then fingertips close together, gently probe each breast in one of these patterns. Circular patterns generally we prefer, or it is in the linear pattern. This is in reclining position. After checking in the reclining position, next slide, you have to sit or you have to stand. Generally, the examination is done in front of the mirror, so that you can feel any abnormality or any asymmetry, and you can see any lump also. So same pattern, circular or linear motion, and also examining the armpit, because sometimes we have very small tumor in the breast, and which is not able, we can detect clinically, but one can have nodal metastasis, which can be detected in the armpit. So examining armpit is very important. And the importance of examining armpit is that some patients can have accessory breast tissue in the armpit, axillary tail is going up to the here up to here. So examining armpit is very important. Next slide. So we have seen the examination of self-examination of breast, looking for lump. What else we should look when we are looking for going for self-examination? Visual inspection. So as I have already told that we should stand in the front of the mirror. So there are changes in skin texture. We discussed like pudgy orange or dimpling or whatever, retraction or indentation of nipple. Symmetry is very important. Looking for the both of the breast, whether they are symmetrical or not, it is very important. Discharge from nipple or atypical fullness or puckering is important. This is visual inspection. Next slide. So clinical breast examination. Clinical breast examination is when you go to the clinic to get yourself checked, and doctor will have a look whether you have any changes in your breast or any lump or any axillary metastasis. Next slide. Next comes the mammography. It is kind of an X-ray. Is an X-ray of the breast. It can detect breast cancer 2 to 3 years before a lump can be felt. So screening mammography, it is very important part in early detection of breast cancer. Next slide. This is how it looks. Normally, this is how breast parenchyma looks, but if the breast becomes dense, so this all becomes white and we are not able to make out this benign cyst or this calcification of cancer. So then we will have to go for other investigation like ultrasound or MRI. So what are the treatment options of breast cancer? Treatment depends upon patient choices as well as the progression of the disease, stage of the disease. Next slide. So what are the, can we have last slide, please? Talking about patient choices. Now, next slide. What are the patient choices? Breast conservation surgery or mastectomy? Breast conservation surgery is that when we remove only the lump. It is a surgery to remove portion or lump of abnormal breast tissue. We will not remove the entire breast, but it is not an option for every breast cancer. It depends upon the stage of the breast cancer, whether we can go for breast conservation surgery or not. In breast conservation surgery, in addition to removing a lump from the breast, we do nodal dissection from the axilla also. And mastectomy, it is the complete removal, surgical removal of one or both breasts, depending upon the bulk of the disease, and also axillary lymph node dissection also. Next slide. Then comes the medical intervention, that is the chemotherapy part. Chemotherapy is often used in combination with other therapies such as radiation, surgery, and of course hormone therapy. But what will a patient will need all modalities of treatment or not, it will depend upon the stage and type of breast cancer, and how is the health of the patient, what we call as performance status of the patient. Whether the patient has received previous cancer treatment. Sometimes patient can have recurrence or relapse of cancer. Sometimes patient can initially she had ovarian cancer, now she has developed breast cancer. So it will all depend upon the previous treatments or she has taken, and location of the cancer cells, like we are discussing metastatic disease or what. And of course, all the treatment options are discussed with the patient, and we go for patient whatever patient opts for. Next slide. So radiation therapy, surgery, medical, and then radiation. When we do use radiation, radiation is use of radiation. It can be palliative in advanced or late stages of breast cancer to alleviate symptoms. Suppose patient has bony metastasis and it is very painful, then we can go for local palliative radiation to relieve him or her of the pain. Patient has breast cancer and it is already stage 4, but patient has very severe bleeding from the local breast wound. We can go for palliative local radiotherapy for hemostatic RT, what we call as. So as a primary treatment of the cancer, after getting the surgery done, after getting the chemotherapy done, some patients, they do require radiotherapy depending upon their histopathological reports. And if we go for breast conservation surgery, radiotherapy is must in the adjuvant treatment. In conjunction with other, last slide. In other treatments, like we have already seen, surgery, chemo, and then radiation. Then to shrink a tumor before surgery, in not in breast cancer, we are not using radiation as a preoperative therapy, but yes, in other cancers like esophageal cancers, we do, or rectal cancer, we do use radiation along with concurrent chemotherapy to reduce the tumor before surgery. And to kill any remaining cancer cells after surgery, this is adjuvant use of radiation therapy. Next slide. Now, in medical intervention, we have very important hormone therapy. The female hormones, estrogen and progesterone, they stimulate cancer cell growth. So prevent estrogen from binding to the receptors. This is important when we have breast cancers which are ER positive, that is estrogen progesterone receptor positive. So whenever we give their antidotes, what we call as anti-estrogen or anti-progesterone or hormonal therapy, they slow and prevent the progression of cancer. Next slide. Coming to the most important part, quality of life after breast cancer treatment. What is important? It is very important. Mental health, it is very important. Physical health is also important. Whether patient is able to perform her daily chores or not, it is very important. Sexual function is important. Pain, fatigue, and other side effects of treatment or symptoms of the breast cancer, they're very, very important. So these are all patient specific. Next slide. So quality of life. So positive quality of life, exercise, by doing exercise, by doing spirituality and self-acceptability. These are all positive effects. And what are the negative side effects? And socializing, they negatively affect the quality of life. Breast cancer survival data. Sometimes patients think that chalo cancer ho gaya, I have been given death sentence, now I will not survive. But when we are detecting cancer at early stages, like in breast cancer stage 1, we can have more than 90% of 5-year survival. That is, it is almost cured, more than 90%. In stage 2, as we go, as the stage increases, our survival, 5-year survival, it decreases. So in stage 2 breast cancers, we generally have breast cancer survival of the tune of 80 to 90%. And in stage 3, it comes to around 60 to 70%. And in stage 4, the 5-year survival is still low. Next slide. So, according to SEER staging, 5-year relative survival breast cancer for women who have localized disease that the cancer cells, those who have not spread beyond the breast, it is almost 99%. When it is regional, when the cancer has spread beyond the breast to the axillary lymph nodes, it is 85%. And when patient has distant metastasis, bony, liver, lung, it is around 26%. Next slide. So what are the myths of breast cancer? A patient develops breast cancer. Now family will give their advice on that. What are the myths? Only women with a family history of breast cancer are at risk. सबसे पहले patient क्या बोलता है, डॉक्टर साहब मेरी तो family में किसी को है ही नहीं. So it is not necessary that patients who have the family history will develop breast cancer. Roughly 70% of women diagnosed with breast cancer, they have no identifiable risk factors. Only 30 to 40% of women, they have hereditary breast cancer, in other words. So breast cancer, non-curable. No, we have already seen that early stage breast cancer, stages of 1 and 2, we have cure rates, the 5-year survival rates of approximately 80 to 90% for stage 2 and more than 90% for stage 1, which is very, very important. Most breast lumps are cancerous. No, women can have hormone related, that is what we call as fibroadenosis of breast, benign breast lumps or benign breast disease, and almost 70 to 80% of the breast lumps can be fibroadenosis. Next slide. Only women can get breast cancer. No, we have already discussed. For every 135 cases of breast cancer in women, one man is diagnosed with breast cancer. But when we talk about male breast cancer, here genetic testing is very, very important. Small breasted women have less chances of getting breast cancer. No, there is no connection, there is no link between the size of breast and the risk of developing breast cancer. Breast cancer always comes in the form of a lump. Yes, it is a most common presentation, but we have already seen it can be discharged from the nipple. It can be inflammatory breast cancer where whole of the more than 50% of the breast tissue is involved. Sometimes we have a very small primary tumor of the breast, and patient can have a lump in the axilla. So these are the other things a patient with breast cancer can develop. Now, sometimes not just axilla, a patient has lung come with lung nodule and it turns out to be a breast cancer. It is also there. It can also be a type of presentation of a breast cancer. Next slide. Having a risk factor or even several mean you will definitely get the disease. No, sometimes patient has a family history of breast cancer. Mother को था but बच्चों को नहीं हुआ. But एक सिस्टम में है, दूसरे सिस्टम में नहीं है. So it is not always that if you have history, all smokers are not getting breast cancer. All obese patients are not getting breast cancer. So it increases your chances of developing breast cancer, but it doesn't mean that you will definitely get breast cancer. Your father's family history of breast cancer does not affect your risk as much as your mother's. No, I have already told you, male breast cancers are very, very important. They get genetically transmitted. So family history of father's family history is also very important, because suppose a patient has a maternal aunt who has breast cancer, it increases your chances of developing breast cancer. Wearing antiperspirant increases your chances of getting breast cancer. There is no data, there are no research on such myths. Next slide. Caffeine causes breast cancer. No, there has not been found any link between drinking caffeine and getting breast cancer. Annual mammograms expose you to so much radiation that they increase your risk of cancer. No, they are not very high radiation. It is very low radiation. So the amount is so small that any associated risks are tiny when they are compared to the huge preventive benefits. We always see the positives and negative effects of any investigation or any treatment. So when we look for mammography, if we see the positives, that if we detect early breast cancer, we can have good cure rates. These are the positives of getting mammography done. And negative is that exposure to radiation, which increases the risk of developing cancer very minutely as compared to its positive effects. Next slide. So this is very important. Famous references. Generally we give references. Doctor साहब मैं ठीक तो हो जाऊंगी. Sonali Bendre, she was diagnosed with metastatic disease in last year July. She's all fine in front of your eyes. Tahira Kashyap, wife of Ayushmann Khurrana, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, but she got treated early, and now she's also doing fine. And Angelina Jolie, yes, next slide. She is very good example of preventive double mastectomy. She had family history. She carries a genetic mutation which can increase the chances of her developing breast cancer. So in patients, so what is the importance of hereditary history or of breast cancer? What is the importance of detecting genetic mutations? This is the importance of detecting genetic mutations. Suppose a patient has a developed breast cancer in one breast, and she has found to be BRCA positive. We advise her to go for mastectomy of the other breast also, and as well as because these patients can develop ovarian cancers also. So prophylactic hysterectomy as well as bilateral salpingo-oophorectomy, that is removal of the uterus as well as the ovaries, is a measure which we can take to decrease the chances of developing breast cancer. Because removal of these organs will not affect her that much as the development of cancer in any of the organ, be it breast cancer, be it breast, be it ovary, be it uterus, and we don't know in which stage we will detect the cancer. So prophylactic double mastectomy, prophylactic hysterectomy, as well as salpingo-oophorectomy is a very important thing, and this she is a very good example of who has undergone preventive double mastectomy because she carries a genetic mutation. These are some other famous references, Kyle Mean and Maggie Smith, who have undergone lumpectomies. So thank you for patient listening. I think I was able to clear your doubts, and we can have questions and answers also.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for such a wonderful presentation and covering all the aspects related to breast cancer. Now, I would request all the participants, if you have any questions, you can type it in the Q&A box below. Madam would be happy to answer them. You can type your questions in the Q&A box below. Ma'am, for time being, we have few questions in our WhatsApp box. I'll just read it for you.
Yeah.
What is the role of palliative care in breast cancer management? Does it plays an important role?
Palliative care is very important in breast cancer or any other cancer because as the word indicates, palliation means relief of symptoms. Suppose a patient is not a candidate for any cancer related treatment, any surgery, any chemo or any radiation. So we generally offer the patient palliative care, which will include, suppose she has pains, she will be given analgesics. Suppose she has bleeding, she will be given treatment. She will be taken care of her nutritional needs, and of course, in among all the things, first most important in palliation is her mental health, which is very very important, so that she can cope up very easily with the situation.
Second question is, ma'am, you already spoke about it, about mammography and sonomammography. What do you think, which is the better option, mammography or sonomammography?
Sonomammography is a better option because I have already told you that sometimes we are not able to see the lesions very clearly in dense breast. So sonomammography will be, and then after mammography we'll go for ultrasound. In sonomammography we will be able to see the things clearly.
What is the role of hysterectomy? Is there any specific criteria for a patient undergoing hysterectomy?
No, unless and until patient carries any genetic mutation, we do not recommend her prophylactic hysterectomy. Sometimes we give hormone therapy to the patient, like when we give tamoxifen. Patient develops endometrial hyperplasia with the use of hormone therapy because they are all estrogen related diseases. So in that cases, we go for hysterectomy. Otherwise, not always.
One more question: are the treatment plans same for all the patients, and what plays a key role? Chemotherapy, surgery, or radiation?
Breast cancer is a disease where we have multimodality kind of treatment. We take we have use of surgery as well as chemo as well as radiation also. So if the patient is operable upfront, we go for surgery followed by the chemo and radiation depending upon her histopathological report. Suppose a patient has locally advanced disease, then we go for preoperative chemotherapy followed by surgery, followed by chemo and radiation. And in palliative settings, we have already discussed that in stage 4, there is no role of surgery, there is no role of radiation, only palliation is there. Only role of chemotherapy to treat the disease, and then surgery and radiation for painful sites or for bleeding.
One thing which you have already covered, I think, if no lump is detectable, what are the other symptoms which can indicate that patient is having breast cancer? What you have already covered apart from that, if anything is there?
See, when there is no lump in the breast, it is difficult to say that she has developed breast cancer only. We go for a battery of tests to pen it down that she has it is from breast, because it is very difficult to say when there is no primary in the breast that it is from breast cancer. Now we have immunohistochemistry, which will be where there are markers like GATA3, ER, PR, which can help us detecting that this is a breast cancer.
One last question, and I think this should be very important. It is related to COVID. Are breast cancer patients more vulnerable to COVID-19, and what would be the role of COVID vaccine?
Vaccination is very, very important because yes, our patients are very prone for, they're very immunocompromised, they're very prone for getting such infections. So we do not avoid any kind of vaccination. The only thing is that we give a good period. Suppose a patient is undergoing chemotherapy and it is a 21-day schedule. So after getting the chemotherapy, we tell them to undergo vaccination after approximately 10 to 12 days, so that it will be in between the cycle. So that if patient has some minimal side effects with the vaccination, it can be managed easily, and patient should not have side effects from the chemotherapy also. But do not avoid, it is a request, it is a sincere request to all my patients that please do not avoid vaccination, COVID-19 vaccination, if they are a case patient of breast cancer and undergoing any kind of treatment.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for taking all the questions and for your wonderful advice. Any concluding remark on this subject for our viewers?
Like we were discussing the last question. So vaccination not pertaining to only breast cancer, any kind of treatment, any kind of cancer treatment patient is undergoing, patient should get him or herself vaccinated. Vaccination is avoided only in blood cancers, where we are going for very high dose chemotherapies and patient has severe neutropenias and thrombocytopenias. Otherwise, there are no other disease or any other treatment where we are telling them to avoid vaccination. So these are my closing remarks. And yes, of course, what we are talking about breast cancer awareness, do make every female aware of the chances of developing breast cancer, and a very important role of very easy methods of screening and very inexpensive methods of screening.
Thank you, Jyoti ma'am, for sharing your valuable time and knowledge with us. It was indeed a pleasure having you here, and we hope that in future also we can meet on such important aspect for patient benefit. Also, thanks to all the viewers who have joined us. What we will do is we will share the edited link of this session in form of YouTube video once we get approval from Jyoti ma'am, and once she permits us, we can share it with everyone. So till next time we meet, on behalf of entire team of RPG Life Sciences, goodbye, take care and stay safe.
Thank you, Vinash. Thank you.